Beacon by Soul 33 teachings for your past, present, and future. Good morning, everybody. It is the 26th of May. I am here in Peru. You're getting me like this, fresh out of bed, because I'm absolutely exhausted. And as I've always said to you, I'm just going to show up here the way that I am because this is just the natural process of life sometimes. And today it's just like, I need to come and speak to you because I've got a big day ahead and it's been a very, very busy and life-changing time here in Peru. Okay, don't forget that every Monday mantra connects to the next one. They're not just for the isolated week that we're in, but I do break them down so that we have a lesson to focus on. And the reason why I do these is because it helps me too to realize, okay, this is what Spirit is asking of us. It helps me tune in to actually give us all a lesson in which that we can live by and apply in our lives. Sorry, my throat chakra has been really activated over the last couple of days, but I'll tell you what naturally comes out of my mouth about what's been happening here. Get your journals out, get your pens out. Remember, this is part of the activation that comes from me, and then at the end we do an integration of everything. It's not just getting to the Monday mantra and listening to it. It's me being the person that I am that shifts things in people. Okay, so we're going to go over what last week's Monday mantra was. Now, last week's Monday mantra, culture surrounds us and runs deep. It is a profound voyage back to the essence of who we are. Culture surrounds us and runs deep. It's a profound voyage back to the essence of who we are. You know, as I was growing up, I always used to try and detach or disassociate from the culture that my soul chose to be born in, which is I'm a Sri Lankan, by ethnicity, Hindu. But now as I mature, I see how these old cultures teach us so much about what life is about, what the soul's journey is about. And this journey that we've been on, because I know you're all on this journey with me, also those who choose to follow or want to follow, is that we're coming back to that womb space. And I am here in Peru where it is the actual womb, the sacral chakra of Earth. It's the Earth's chakra of the womb. And so those who are listening to this will be having that activation also. And we are really exploring our spiritual roots. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to, it could mean this. It could mean that you are reviewing and looking at your culture. And they're particularly telling me for those who are mixed ethnicity, sometimes it can be confusing of which culture to follow, but this is for you to discover. This is why your soul would have chosen to have a mixed culture in this lifetime. And we are really exploring these spiritual roots, because the question I posed of all of you last week is, what is your culture and whose culture are you awakening to? Like, I am so open to everything. Yes, I was born into a Hindu family, but I have profound experiences with many cultures because I'm open to all of it, because I know how everything is connected. And my parents would always say to me, all cultures are the same. Everyone's praying to the same thing. It's just that everyone's differentiated in how and what they believe. It is these beliefs, customs, traditions, and values shared by a community that amplifies everything. It shapes our worldview, influences our actions, and anchors us into a profound sense of identity and belonging. And the week that we've just had, going into this week, it's about honoring the teachings of diverse cultures. Like, sometimes I was thinking when I first started the app, I'm always going to come from what I learn, what I know from myself, because I am here, Spirit's put me here as a teacher. And I'm so grateful to all of you that just embrace the meditations that I put up on the app, because they're given to me by my spirit guides, and my spirit guides vary from the time that I'm channeling information through. And this week, the teachings of diverse cultures, both in who we have a spiritual kinship with, meaning that we feel connected to but may not have been born into that culture, or from the culture that we are. Spirit keeps talking to me about Atlantis. Like, it's really interesting because I've had such an insane week, and this is why I'm so exhausted, is because I did the 1 day Inca Trail, and I'm no athlete, and it was very, very challenging. And then the day after, I did Hayana Picchu, or Wayana Picchu, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And yesterday I participated in a 10-hour ceremony. And so I've got up this morning and I was like, okay, I need to get this Monday mantra to you so that we know what we're focusing on. But when I was at Machu Picchu, and I was, the post yesterday, I was crying a lot of the way because it was spiritually and emotionally and physically very challenging for me, but that's just what I needed. And people were turning back when they hit the incline because some people realized that they couldn't do it. And I'm in a group of 20, and only 5 of us ended up doing it. Everybody else didn't feel like they could or wanted to do it for varying reasons, and there's no judgment. It's just that it was interesting that only 5 of us did it, and we all had our reasons. But with the stirring of Atlantis, what I was getting to is when I got to Machu Picchu, it's like there's temples there, like within Machu Picchu, and each temple represents a different thing. And I didn't realize I was reaching a temple point within Machu Picchu, and there was water flowing, and I could just feel the activation of Atlantis at that point. And I made an offering from my heart there because I knew that it was a remembrance of my divine origin. And we're just being asked to remember that these ancient cultures, these indigenous cultures, they knew something that we have forgotten. Like, sure, people do the 4-day Inca Trail and the 7-day Inca Trail, and they must be amazingly trained for it. The 1-day Inca Trail is challenging. But back when Machu Picchu was being created, it is all cosmically ordered. Like they were looking at the heavens and creating it here on Earth. And people were walking to Machu Picchu from Cusco, from Ecuador, from Chile, from all the neighboring countries, not because when they got to Machu Picchu there was going to be a big party or a feast. They were going there for the land. They were going there for the representation of heaven on earth. And was what I realized as I was walking, because we stopped and we were doing ceremonies along the way, especially in the beginning, and then and then we just had to focus. I couldn't focus on anything else because I was like, this, I have to be in the present, because I was struggling in the beginning with the inclines, because it's not, I've never even hiked before. This is the first time I'm wearing hiking boots and drinking from a camel pack. So this being my first hike was a really challenging thing. But the night before, I was meditating and I asked my spirit guides, because everyone was wavering. Everyone, because our guide was like, you start this, you have to finish it. There's no airlifting yourself out there. There's no staying. If you don't get to the end of Machu Picchu by this time, there's a 3-hour walk into the city because the buses stop. And so I asked my spirit guides, I said, can I do this? And they said, oh, yes, but it will be challenging, because you're going to be shedding your past. We're going to be forcing you to be in the present. And then we're going to show you some of your future. And the past, I was crying all the way in the Inca train, pretty much. And when I arrived at the beginning of the Inca Trail, everyone was waving to us, the 5 of us, from the train. And I was like, tears coming out of my eyes, because I knew this was going to be a really big spiritual thing for me. And so the train represented the snake for me. And then as I walked, and we did a ceremony for the rest of the group that couldn't be with us for varying reasons, there had been a landslide, and our guide said, okay, normally it gradually inclines, but this is going to go flat and then it will just hit an incline. When I got to that incline, people were turning around to leave because they realized that they couldn't sustain this for the next 3 hours. My group moved ahead, and I looked at my guide and I sat on the steps and I said, I am losing control. I feel like I'm going to faint. And I said to him, it's not my legs, it's not my lungs. It is I'm losing control. I have no control over the situation. And he looked at me. He was incredible. He was so amazing. He made me feel so safe. And he said, you can do this. He said, you can do this. And he opened up a chocolate and shoved it in my mouth. He said, this is going to give you extra energy. And I was like, yes, I can do this. He said, you are going to lead the group. And he's a very smart man and also very spiritual, because he knew putting me in the front was giving me control. I was leading. And so I led the group most of the way. And, it was really good for me to do that because my legs had to keep moving. Just like how when I show up here every Monday, regardless of what condition I'm in, is because I'm dedicated and disciplined to leading. And so then we walked for, we were stopping a lot because we all needed to stop a lot because we were all varying. We had like a couple of 3 seasoned hikers, and they said, and I was actually really glad they said this. They said, gosh, this is a 4 out of 5 in difficulty. And these are seasoned hikers of like, they hike every week and go to different places in the world to hike. So we were stopping and drinking a lot of water and having snacks. But I couldn't focus on anything else. Like people walking past saying hello, nah, couldn't do it. I was like, the puma, because I could see the puma through my third eye. And she was all agitated and like walking around my legs. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, why can't you just calmly lead? And she's like looking at me like, you're leading. And I could tell why, she was looking all agitated, because she knew I was going to be when I hit that incline. And so we walked and walked. And then when we got to the 3-hour mark, my guide fist bumped me. He said, you've got through the hardest part. And we all sat down. We all ate a really beautiful, healthy lunch. And then I could feel like the tag team Puma stopped and the condor took over. And I got to see some condors at a animal sanctuary. It was not a zoo. It was an animal sanctuary where they rescue all these animals that are being victimized. And they were raising condors there. And the condors were flying above us. So you could, because their wingspan is huge. And it's like we got the blessings of the condor the day before. And so then the next 3 hours was just this opportunity to have this transformation of moving from the past, staying in the present always, but knowing that the wings of the condor were taking me into the future, which is also into the past because I'm going to Machu Picchu, which is an ancient civilization. Throat chakra still working. So this has been an opportunity to transform and heal the old karmas and release burdens that no longer serve our highest good. And it's like a chapter of an ancient journey has concluded. Like, obviously we were all rewarded by getting to Machu Picchu, because when we hit the sun gate, there's a steep set of stairs. People were stopping and sitting on the stairs, but I was like, right, I'm going to scramble my way up there because I knew I was coming to the end. Got up the stairs. And it was like, oh my God, we've got 30 minutes to go before we get to Machu Picchu after 6.5 hours of walking or whatever it was. It was about 7 hours altogether. And it's like something concluded inside of me. Like you got to the sun gate, and the sun gate's incredible because during the December solstice, obviously the Incas, looked astronomically, and the sun shines through the sun gate onto Machu Picchu during the December solstice. So I was so grateful to sit there, and you can feel all the energy going up through your legs into your body. And we sat there and meditated. And I love how in Peru, and I know lots of places are like this, but I'm just saying because I'm here, the temples are nature. It's not, when we go to a temple here, it's not some big building. It is nature. It's the natural formation of rocks that have then just been made into altars honoring that. And it was like when I saw Machu Picchu, I was so incredibly proud of myself. We were all so proud of each other because we all struggled at some point. We were all having our individual things going on. And it was as though when I got to Machu Picchu, like down into the temple where there was water, it was like this rebirth, and it started raining too, so we were dealing with slippery rocks as well for the last about, hour, I think. And it was, you're surrounded by these mountains, the Andes, and it really is where heaven and earth converge. And this is the feeling I'm getting for all of us, because I know Spirit has sent me here for a bigger reason, and it's because of my reach with those who come to me, and my job and my sole purpose. But it's also this path of awakening for all of us, and that we have limitless possibilities awaiting us as we step into our true selves. Like, I am not a hiker, like I said to you, it's not something I naturally do. This has been so out of my comfort zone, and I've got more out of comfort zone things coming up, which I'll share with you as they happen. But it is this unwavering trust now of divine timing of our unfolding, and we're moving into a brighter, more harmonious existence rooted in authenticity and divine love. I don't know how Peru is going to change me, but I do also know in some ways, because it's been amazing. The most sacred way to connect with your inner truth is through meditation. We had World Meditation Day last week. This is why I said homework for you every week, so you always know where to go and what to start with on your meditation journey, without having like, where do I go, what do I do? And meditation has changed my life. It doesn't have to be meditation for hours and hours. It's the quality over the quantity. And this week, whether you have traveled, whether you are on sacred land, whether it's your home is sacred land, it's coming to this place of your heritage. It's marking a transition of this divine bridge guiding us into the days ahead, or the wings of the condor. Spiritually, it serves as a reminder that you're enveloped in the support of the universe. And we are. Like, I have felt everything in this. You know, I shared on social media about my experience with shaman Luis. And, you know, I came to Peru. I actually didn't plan anything. I came meeting to meet a group I've never met before. I knew I was going to be led by the facilitator and the guide, and I didn't do any other preparation. I did do some physical preparation, which I'll share with you before. Later. I did the preparation before. But in terms of what's going on here, I don't know. I'm just going along with it. And so when we went to the Temple of the Moon for this ceremony with Shaman Luis is a full-time shaman. It's through his generations. His wife was there, his teenage daughter was there, and then the 20 of us. And I wrote about it in my Instagram, so you can go and look at it in Facebook. His wife walked around. This is a 2-hour ceremony. We were there on this land. His wife walked around handing coca leaves to us, because these are offerings to Pachamama. And they placed the leaves in all of our hands, the wife did. And as Shaman Luis was speaking in Quechua and Spanish, our guide was translating. And I had to speak up, because when I looked closely at my leaves, I was like, oh, I don't have the same amount of leaves that everybody else does. So I had to say something. And then I saw the shaman whispering to our guide something, which I didn't understand. And then we did all the beautiful offerings and things. And then at the end, the guide came up to me and said, the shaman wants you to stay, because there's another ceremony he needs to do for you, which was represented by the number of coca leaves that you had. And when he told me what it was, I was like, holy, this man, Pachamama showed me why I was here in Peru. It was quite incredible. And like, I was thinking, God, this is so typical of Gaia to come here and be the one singled out to stay. But it showed me that I'm so supported, that we are all so supported, that they will show us what we need to work on, and they are guiding us. And so let the spirit of the land guide you. Let your footsteps ahead guide you. Just take the steps ahead. Come back to your cultural heritage. Find a culture that you resonate with, that you want to learn from, because it's all connected anyway. It doesn't really matter what you choose. Maybe it chooses you. And your action this week, the week before, was to just sit in quiet meditation and attune yourself to the cultural and ancestral influences that shape your beliefs. As we move through the week, Lucy's obviously been a very great help with posting things that I've been sending. I did go to Saskatchewan in Cusco, And it was a beautiful experience there. It was just one of those things where you go and you go, how is this even? This is before I walked to Machu Picchu. And, you know, there were dragonflies around, and I recorded the sound of the waterfall for you because I thought this is so cleansing for our rebirth. And just looking at these bricks, there was such a huge activation here. The couple of girls that I was with, because everyone was kind of separated that day, it is a place where the Incas went to honor the sun god. And I love how the sun and moon, I was thinking, God, when I was a child, I made my mum buy me everything sun and moon. I wanted sun and moon, everything, sun and moon duvet covers, sun and moon, everything on my wall. And I love how that divine energy was so present here, Saksya Horman, because it was during the Inca Empire, a fortress, but it was there as a conscious place to honor the divine. And the frequency there was huge. Like I could feel every prayer that has been made there. So that was a very beautiful experience. Then when I pulled the soul progression card, it was again new direction, number 4, the same as last week. And I knew that the spirit guides knew I'm here in Peru, hiking, exploring new paths. And this is why that new direction comes in for all of us again, because we were in in the week of culture and a journey, whether you're traveling inward, outward, or staying home, it doesn't matter. Like I don't usually read other posts very much. I just kind of do my own thing. But when I do read something, I know it's meant to do something for me. And there's quite a well-known witch on Instagram, and she's very authentic. And it was really interesting. She put up a post about, you don't need to travel. It's such, crap, basically, going to different earth grids. You don't need to do that. Of course you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that, but we're here in a physical body. If ancient civilizations knew that there are certain places on earth that walking there, that going there was going to activate something for you, and we're in a physical body and we can do it, why wouldn't we? And so this is about the new direction. It's like it doesn't matter if you're going physically, but if you can, why not? Because we're in this physical body. And the card came up again because a new direction is calling us to recognize and face certain truths, allowing something new to emerge and forge its way forward. A fork in the road is approaching, much like the Two of Swords. And that's what they were showing me, the Two of Swords. It's like, I need to make a decision. I'm at a crossroads. Has something been split in your life? And it might not have been right now, but maybe you've split up with a partner. Maybe you're deciding to go a different way. What is it for you? Where has there been a split in the road? The number 4 in this week's card, the last week that I picked it, for the 4 levels of the universe, because the Incas viewed the cosmos as divided into 4 realms: Hanan Pacha, the upper world; K Pacha, the middle world; Uku Pacha, the underworld; and the spiritual realm that connects them all. And the number 4 embodies the unity and the interconnectedness of these levels, emphasizing the holistic nature of existence. It also highlights the importance of respecting nature's cycles and directions to maintain balance spiritually, physically, and energetically. This week, as you walk your path, consider how everything is connected. Reflect on how each decision and steps influence your whole. Then we put up a video about, this lands of Peru, how the impossible once became possible. And that was the biggest message I got, that through culture, if we go back to our real, true ancestral roots, they made the impossible possible. Then let's have a look. We have the extended meaning of the Monday mantra. Sorry, as you know, I'm all a bit disorganized because I'm here in Peru. The extended meaning of the Monday mantra. As we awaken to the essence of our cultures, those we have chosen on a soul level or wish to honor, we open the heart to the lineage from which we come. They're telling me this is from the star seed. In this unfolding, you will see that all cultures are rooted in the sacred action of creation. It is that ancient memory that resides within us all, that everything began somewhere with the ancestors the land, and the cosmos. This remembrance awakens the truth that we are all interconnected through the divine origin of itself. Because it's been such a profound magical journey, really sit with that extended meaning of the Monday mantra. Remember, I'm always here for you. I am only one person and I'm doing my very best to see you all and do all the things, but it's always the right time when you do have a session. But I'm still doing mini readings. I'm doing a few soul magics. I'll be back in New Zealand soon, but I am working as I go along where I can. And so if you need any help, renewal of the app, we do it as best as we can to keep this as affordable as possible for you. So email Karen with the appropriate subject title. The email is soul33@gmail.com, soul33@gmail.com, and please be patient with your response times. Okay, don't forget that every Monday mantra, you don't have to worry if you don't figure it out immediately. It might be a few weeks before something happens, or months, who knows. Last week, I remember sitting and getting information showing me graves. Now I know why. Because Spirit this week, the Monday mantra, may be morbid, but I don't think it's morbid. So try and move your headspace out of the morbidity into the reality. This is your Monday mantra. Death reminds us that Death reminds us that the way is open to truly live. Memento mori. Death reminds us that the way, the new direction, is open to truly live. Memento mori. Memento mori in Latin means remember, we will die. This week invites you to expand your awareness and inquire beyond your mind's initial responses. Use your discernment to distinguish between the thoughts of the ego and the deeper truths flowing from your inner knowing, reminding yourself that we're all going to die one day. We are here in the physical for taking new direction and learning, reconciling with the truth, reconciling with our past. Like all of us have been crying so much here on this trip because we're all purging and letting go of all of the things that we need to. And yesterday during the 10-hour ceremony, I participated in my own way because that was the direction of my spirit guides. And I have never, I have to be honest, sat for 10 hours in a corner of a beautiful garden because as soon as I walked into the ceremony room, I was like, oh yeah, I can feel all this energy. And I sat for 10 hours, no phone, no food, just water, tea they were handing around. Other people had consumed some plant medicine. I was guided not to. I've never taken any plant medicine. I don't have any issues with it, but it is something that my spirit guides have advised me not to consume because of my constitution and who I am. And so I took in the plant medicine energetically. Everyone else had taken it orally. And I sat in my corner for 10 hours as everybody else was doing their thing in their own corners. And I just let go and was monitoring every layer of observation that my spirit guides were giving me and placing within me for my own activation and lessons around what this sacred medicine was offering me energetically. And from this, I could go back again to the deeper truths and my inner knowing of why am I here on this land. We are in a sacred phase of our integration, processing everything we've encountered. And that's what I'm feeling here. Everything I've encountered until this point in my life is integrating. Receiving spiritual upgrades is only part of the journey. The true work lies in sitting with, absorbing and reflecting on what has been revealed to us. Spirit reminds us that to truly live is to recognize the inevitability of death, awakening us to the preciousness of each moment. A profound recall is happening across all levels of consciousness. The day after the Inca Trail, I walked up Hayana Picchu. That's another about 2 hours up and down. They call that the death climb, and it really was the death climb. But I was so impressed with some of the people getting up there because some parts you have to really be on your hands and knees. It was raining, it was slippery. But again, it's quite amazing how the Incas knew, like, The death climb is really making you live, because you have to focus on every step that you're taking up there and focusing on every precious moment, because at any point, if you slip or if you let go, you will be down the mountain. But it's fueling this desire to be free and wild, which is what this has taught me. And I'm not an outdoorsy kind of person, but it's starting to change me, where I can feel the activations taking place from just being in nature wherever you are. And knowing that this freedom is the key to birthing your new or next creation, whether that is welcoming you a new life, launching a project, or awakening to your divine talents. This period heralds a new wave of intuitive insight with fresh ideas and new keys opening before you. Okay, we talked about keys a few weeks ago, I think it was. But this week, Spirit was talking to me about gene keys, a powerful tool for spiritual and personal evolution rooted in the understanding, the thumb has come up because, yes, we're on the right track, of gene keys. And gene keys were developed by Richard Rudd, so I'm giving him the acknowledgement here because intuitively I got the word gene keys. And gene keys reveals that within each of us lie specific genetic codes, genes that influence our personality, behavior, and life experiences. So if anyone's having genetic disorders, this is something to look at. The essence of the gene keys is that these genetic sequences contain shadows, challenging traits, and gifts, positive potentials, and siddhis, states of higher consciousness, engaging with your unique gene keys. And through reflection, meditation, and self-inquiry, allows you to transmute limiting patterns, expand your awareness, and access your highest potential. The process guides your journey to self-discovery and spiritual growth, aligning you with the divine intelligence woven into all of your life. What are your genes telling you? Has anyone done any type of gene testing recently? This is something that they're really emphasizing at the moment. What is in your genes? During this time, you may notice fluctuations, peaks of valleys in mood or energy. This is why I'm doing very physical things for me and then exhausted, but I also have a lot of energy because I've got to shower and go out very shortly to meet the rest of the group to complete the ceremony of yesterday. These polarities serve as opportunities to clarify your deepest desires and set intentions aligned with the energy of the new moon coming in on the 27th. Use these moments to define your purpose and direct your focus toward your next inspired steps, your new direction. So this moon falls under the sign of Gemini. So it's a time of mental renewal, emotional clarity, inner growth. Gemini, the shadow and the light working together. And it emphasizes communication, curiosity, adaptability, and the pursuit of understanding. This lunar phase invites us to explore new ideas, share our truth, and engage in meaningful dialogue. The new moon is to initiate fresh perspectives, releasing old patterns and welcoming new ways of thinking, deepening our connection with the inner wisdom, growing through communication. This is teaching us that true growth begins with the openness to learning and a willingness to see yourself and the world with fresh eyes. We also have Shani Jayanti on the 27th coming in on the new moon. Shani is Saturn, the planet Saturn. So on this day, Shani Jayanti marks the divine birth of Lord Shani, Lord Saturn, the planetary deity associated with discipline, karma, and justice. This sacred occasion invites reflection on lessons of patience, responsibility, and karmic balance. So you want to think about cultivating discipline and responsibility, trusting the divine timing, balancing justice with compassion by honoring Saturn and life's challenges with grace, understanding that perseverance and integrity pave the way for our true prosperity and inner peace. So you want to integrate Saturn's energy with the new moon. So it presents this opportunity to set intentions rooted in clarity, rooted in being patient, rooted in being responsible with your actions, having follow through, being able to persevere. All of these things are so important on our journeys, whether they're spiritual, physical, or together. So you want to, this week, meditate on your inner truth, set your goals, intentions, wishes, perform a simple prayer, honor Saturn, seeking justice, patience, and divine guidance. Practice mindfulness and self-love. Engage in acts of charity or offerings. This is a powerful moment to align your mind and heart with higher wisdom, patience, and responsible growth. So this week, your action is engage in an action that awakens your spirit, something that pushes you beyond your comfort zone and ignites your soul vitality. We're going to integrate all of this now. So if you are not driving, please take a moment to close your eyes. Reminding yourself that you have this one life as you, the role you are playing now. And this week you want to break through any barriers and use your light body and your divine access within to transcend and honor what you are meant to be doing here. The courage that you are going to need to cultivate to do difficult things. Nothing is easy. Even organizing all of this is not easy, but it is there for a purpose, because memento mori, death is inevitable. And knowing that should give you the path of clarity, the path of knowing that the way you are going is going to be shown to you. Be present, connect with your inner force, and dance with the universe, knowing that you are absolutely supported with being all that you can be. Remember, I'm always here for you. Email kieransoul33@gmail.com. Next week might be a whole different vibe of Monday Mantra, because I probably will be home by the time I record it, but we'll see how we get on. Your Monday Mantra is: death reminds us that the way is open to truly live memento mori. Death reminds us that the way is open to truly live memento mori. Until next week.